Let's get started. Today we'll be basically discussing about like the government cloud, everything and all you need to know before starting a government integration. So before that, let me just introduce myself. I am Akshita Sawant, currently at EPAM System London and a senior software engineer. Apart from this, I'm also a MuleSoft ambassador and meetup leader. So basically serving for the MuleSoft community. So let's get started. So the agenda for today's session, it's normally like we'll be discussing about the government and public cloud sector integrations and what are the government policies, what are the challenges we have been facing. And then we'll also talk about the MuleSoft's government cloud and the case study in brief. So feel free to ask your questions, your doubts, and let's make it an interactive session. Okay. So moving with the next thing, to get started basically. So here we can see different case studies, right? They are normally related to the government case studies, the Home Office one, the ONS, Welsh government, rail networks. So, and they are normally talking about, if you see the cloud cost, how the revenue has been increased, how it has benefited them, how adopting the cloud technology and strategies have benefited the governments. So why are we normally like discussing or more bragging about the government technologies or the government cloud integrations? Because the private sector have been doing these things since quite a long time almost, and they have been generating good revenues as well. But why are we like more concerned about the government cloud and integrations basically? So the reason being the government integrations or the government cloud sector or the prior public organizations, they have been facing a lot of challenges integrating. So in order to overcome this challenge and to make government integrations easy with the cloud or maybe the APIs and the integrations overall as such, so we need to be like adopting the cloud technologies. So first, let's look like what are the challenges which have been faced by the government organizations or the public sector organizations. So mainly, if you come across any government organizations or maybe companies and all, so they have been normally practicing on the legacy systems. So if you have seen, I heard about like they have this huge legacy databases and the systems which are like in the office premises, and they are normally unreluctant. Not reluctant, mostly reluctant to like switching to the new technologies, adopting the new changes and all. So yeah, the legacy systems which they have been operating on are the major issues we can say. Also the monolithic and point-to-point architectures. So if we are talking about the government organizations, so the data is present in silos and they are like still following the traditional approaches of the monolithic architectures. So we can say they're not up to date. And if you see that today's organization or today's IT world, they are we believe in getting connected and connecting the data, sharing data across the systems, so we can actually better utilize this data. The third thing would be the security concerns. So when we're talking about the security concerns and also about the government organizations, so we know that there are several policies, security regulations, compliances and all which needs to be followed. We need to follow those government rules and all, because the data which government has is actually crucial data, and there are some regulations. Not just on the cloud perspective, but also from the government, the law and regulation side, which needs to be followed. And these are some of the things which are actually keeping the government organizations, the public organizations, away from adopting the latest technologies. But if we see in practice, this is the need of an hour that the government organizations and the public organizations, basically public sector groups, they should be moving out to the cloud technologies so that they can deliver a better results. And why do we need them? Is basically there are number of applications, so the mobile applications, the web applications. Even here we have been all using the government data apps for almost all of the stuff, right? The ticketing and everything. The hospitalization or whatever it is. So we have been quite relying on the mobile applications provided by government. And we are actually so used to the other applications by the private organizations that we're expecting the same results to be given to us by the government apps as well. But we cannot actually compare it, but at least the government organizations can try to level up the applications or maybe the infra they're providing us. And for that, there needs to be a switch from the legacy systems and the traditional methods to the government cloud or something like that. Okay. So what's needed is they need to be keeping the applications up to date in order to provide a better user interface, better user results, or the delivery kind of thing. And yeah, they need to adopt a smart cloud. So why are we more focusing here on the government cloud is because the original clouds, right? If you're talking about the regular clouds like AWS, Azure, or any of the cloud providers, So they do provide us the proper, I mean, they do give us results, I mean, the monitoring or the other stuff and all. But with government cloud, which I mean, even these normal services which we have like Azure and AWS, they're also capable enough of providing the government rules and regulation, which we'll talk in the later slide, like what exactly we're talking when it comes to the rules and the regulations and all. So yeah, apart from that, the second point, which is like the APIs and the integrations. So now, before, like we discussed, like the government organizations, the data and everything, it has been residing in silos. So it's difficult to integrate the data systems. And with this new technologies which are emerging out, or the new requirements which we have, the gap, the IT delivery gap is actually increasing. And in order to reduce this gap, we need to be focusing more on the API-led architecture, or maybe integrating different systems. So integrating the systems with the help of APIs and integrations. Uh, in order to adopt these things, we need to actually rely on the integration tools, integration systems along with the government cloud. So that's how the entire things is coming into picture. I mean, the government cloud plus the integration stuff. So we'll also discuss about the integration tools and all which we can use to adopt these things or to get started at least. Okay. So moving to the next month. Yeah, what are the different government security policies and all? So we have previously discussed that there are several policies and all which are going to take place. So these are few of the policy from the US government perspective. We'll also see a few from the European and the UK government perspective as well. So if you come across any of the US projects, okay, and the major, if it's government projects, so major security concerns or major rules which you need to follow would be these of the, I mean, these are few of them which are listed. I mean, it depends upon which country, I mean, which state or which part of the region of which project you're following. But these are the frequent ones or the most common policies which you can come across. So FedRAMP, these are also called as the federal policies. So if you are coming, if you can actually Google out like AWS federal government or Azure federal government thing. So you will see that these cloud providers are actually provide, I mean, they are actually called as the government cloud, and they are having this inbuilt security features. So you don't have to configure anything separately. Those clouds, they will be already following or adopting this government policies. Okay. And that's how they make, because the data which will be like go incoming and the outgoing data, the metadata, it needs to follow some compliances, some regulations. So what those regulations are, so these are them: the FedRAMP, FIPS, NIST, CIS benchmark. So you don't have to actually go into the depth of all these policies and all, but depending on your project, if it is something from maybe banking sector, or maybe something from the maybe government data structure, some kind of thing, the medical assistance system. So yeah, according to that, there are different kinds of policies and you need to actually consider. But if you're opting for a whole package of a government cloud, get all of these included itself. So these are a few of them from the US government perspective. And then, yeah, I've just listed a few of them from the UK and European government perspective thing. So if you see BaFin, which is for Germany, and then European Banking Authority thing, then there is G Cloud, which is like quite common and it is frequently, I mean, you can actually see if you're into any of the government cloud in UK or maybe in European. So there is G Cloud, which has to be followed or adopted. And the government is actually encouraging to use, I mean, to move to the cloud technologies or use cloud technologies with the help of G Cloud. So it's an actually initiative which is taken by the public sectors organizations and all. And the last one is the EU-US Privacy Shield, which is like the between the US and the Swiss government. So I've just listed a four of them over here, but there are actually like 20, 30 policies which I've come across, and you don't have to actually know about each one of them. But what's important is like we should be following these policies and the regulations and all. And the only way to get through them is like, because we cannot actually implement these things like we have our security policies and all in most of the integration tools. So this is something by default which is provided by the government cloud. Okay, these are the features which we can accept. So typically what is the government cloud is, it will be having all the features which you have in the regular cloud. I mean, the deploying, monitoring, and the load balancing, all those features. So all those features will be already there. Plus on top, you will be getting this security policy thing. So that's how it makes it special. And that's how it makes the integration with the government clouds and all easier. All right. So yeah. So these are the different integration tools. So why are we talking more about the integration tool is, if you're using a government cloud, as we say, the data previously has been in silos. And today, if you see, the need is the microservices or using the API-led connectivity, API-led approach, basically, so that the data is interconnected and we can actually make use of the data. We can get them connected, and what we can call it like people should be actually able, like if suppose if there is a new change coming up in future, as we know that, I mean, the changes of the demand in the market is quite high, and we need to be at the same pace if you want to deliver faster. So in order to deliver fast, we need to connect this the systems which are actually in silos, and for that we'll be definitely needing an integration tool. And all these integration tools, I mean, they have their own deployment option. You can talk about, I mean, I've selected a few of them which are like the top integration tools, we can say, as per the Gartner. So TIBCO, MuleSoft, Delbumi, and all. And I mean, all of them, they have their own government, I mean, they have their own cloud platform as well, which provides an iPaaS services. Apart from the iPaaS services, they also give you the ability to like use the government cloud. So the one which I have used is the MuleSoft's government cloud. We'll talk about it in detail, but just for the information, I mean, there are other government cloud, other integration tools as well, which are having their own platform, like TIBCO's Federal Data Governments. And then you can see most of them, they are over here, they are from US government, but it's not the case. We have the same, I mean, it depends on what region you are in, what region you're trying to host the application. So accordingly, if it's for a European region or any other region, you'll get the policies which are pertaining to that particular region. Okay. But currently, MuleSoft's government cloud is more focusing on the US region. I think the other AWS and Azure, they have the services in European regions as well. Okay. So yeah, that's all about the integration tools and all. Okay. And the next one coming is the MuleSoft's government cloud. So how different is MuleSoft government cloud? So basically it follows all the features, whatever we have seen previously, these policies, government policies, as it is focusing more on the what we call it as US region, it will be complying to all this FedRAMP, FIPS, NIST, and CIS benchmarks. So all these policies are, I mean, security policies are inbuilt in it. Apart from that, we also get the entire Anypoint platform services. I mean, whatever services we have, it's an iPaaS. MuleSoft is basically, for the ones who are new to it, it's an iPaaS tool. And it's an integration tool, it's an ETL tool, you can say all of them. So it actually complies to all this government policies. And apart from that, it will be also providing you the iPaaS services to build APIs, deploy your application, manage services, monitoring, logging, and everything you need. Okay, hosting the data and all. Also, it provides you support, maintenance, and all. So yeah, just the government cloud, I mean, if you want to have something like that, it will be a top up for you, and you need to actually ask for the ones who have been using MuleSoft and their or the other integration tool, basically. So the MuleSoft's government cloud that they say, so it will be having the similar features what we have in the previous in the normal cloud. The only additional thing we'll be having is a security concern. So if you are working for some government organization or public sector organization for which your data and metadata is having some rules and regulations which needs to be followed, so in that case, you should be opting for a government cloud, and the MuleSoft support team will be setting this thing up for you. So there is no, I mean, there is no additional efforts which you need to take in order to set this thing up as well. And it's also doing a job well. So yeah, that's all about the security in the government cloud and all. And the next thing being the case study. So this is the case study of a customer which has adopted the government cloud. I mean, state of Colorado customer story. So what was the need for change? I mean, why did they adopt this case study? So basically there was a need, I mean, firstly, like what's the need for changes? There was a law which was being passed in 2009, something that act of something, act of like cheaper medicines or something like that, assistance for like cheaper medical facilities. And everyone should be getting this benefit out of the policy or the act, basically, that everyone should be getting easy access to this medical facilities and all. And if you know, the government services or government organizations at that time, they were not cloud, more into cloud or something like that. And around 2013 or something, they actually had to bring this whole thing into picture. And the state of Colorado, they were having around like 6 7 months to actually build out an integration or the apps and deliver it to the customers, basically the citizens. So when you know, when there is a medical facility, medical stuff involved, like an integration or an app, so there is a lot of crucial data, the patient's data, which is like quite sensitive. And also the data was scattered around different systems. So it was a major problem for them to like actually collate all the data and bring it into one place. Firstly, because they were using the legacy systems, they weren't much aware about the security stuff which needs to be followed and all. And then how they are going to make it possible under such a short span of time, which is like 6 7 months. So that's wherein MuleSoft actually come into picture. They offered them, I mean, they just tried, the first thing that they did was unlocking the data. And how did they unlock the data? Was using the API-led connectivity. So API-led connectivity, which I have previously mentioned as well, it's a term which is coined by MuleSoft, wherein we are actually building blocks, and I mean the API blocks and connecting the different systems together. So that's in the form of API. We are unlocking the data which is present in the silos and different systems and all, and we are getting it together. Okay. So with the help of API-led connectivity, microservices and all the data which is present in different systems was connected together, was brought together. And in order to like, as it being a state and a government stuff, they had to adopt the government cloud as well. So within a span of like 6 7 months, they actually achieved this thing, and that became a success story by stating that that was the first state which was like cloud entirely. First they got, I mean, they also stated the code that first they become mobile app, I mean, mobile built, and then the cloud built, and then government security, I mean the API is built as well. So it was a full-fledged project which went live and which was actually successful. And then what did they achieve out of it is, was everyone got a good user experience. They were using both MuleSoft and Salesforce for the same purpose. And then the healthcare facilities and all, it was actually, they were actually able to achieve these things and get result out of it. So yeah, that is one of the success stories which you can say. And it was actually possible in a short time because they didn't have to much worry about the security concerns, security policies. Just by adopting to a government cloud, everything was taken care of, I mean, related to security or the state rules, state guidelines, or the country guidelines basically. So a similar case study, if you are even in European country or any other region, so basically you can just adopt to the government cloud or maybe whichever thing. It's not necessarily it has to be MuleSoft. We have seen different cloud for the matter. Even if you're deploying it on a AWS or Azure, you can just ask your customer service provider or something. I mean, the provider, cloud provider, basically, for the government cloud options and how are the security policies and concerns. So apart from this, we are almost to the end. And what are the key takeaways for the session would be like, what is basically the need for government cloud? We have seen what are the different challenges. I mean, basically, why do we need government cloud is because the legacy systems and technologies which they have been using should be enhanced, should be given like more of what we can say. Uh, we need to move to a cloud basically because of the increasing data, the demand, and we need to keep up with the pace at which the data is growing, which is actually growing exponentially. So apart from this, we have also seen like what are the challenges unfaced while integrating with the government cloud, how the legacy systems and then security concerns, all of these are actually affecting the government and public organizations, and how currently they are trying to come out of it and just move towards the cloud and all. And then we have also seen the government security policies, which are related to US and the UK, European government as well. So it depends on your region, like whichever region you're hosting your cloud, what are the current government's policies and all cloud policies, cloud security policies, which needs to be followed. We have seen what are the different integration tools and how the government cloud has been helping us out. And then we have also seen the MuleSoft's government cloud, what are the capabilities it provides. It provides you the iPaaS services, all the iPaaS services of logging, monitoring, building the API, deploying the API implementation, and all of them. All the tools which we have been using in the Anypoint platform, the API Designer, Exchange, runtime manager, all of them. We can use all of them. And top of that, we are getting the security stuff, which is like the FedRAMP security, FIPS, and all. So that is a top up. So with this, we almost have come to an end. And let me know if there are like any other questions and all related to government cloud or anything.
Yes, look like we have. So when you were speaking about the government cloud, could you please explain how much it costs? Does it bring additional cost to the client to use the government cloud, and how much?
Yes, definitely. I mean, when you're adopting a normal cloud services, so we cannot actually discuss on the cost, like on the terms of facts and figures, but yeah, it will be an additional package because it is requesting something on top of the normal services. So yeah, definitely there is a cost involved.
Okay, I see. So speaking about the case, what you have described, you were speaking about the API integration, but what if we need to do the file integration? Could you please explain how it will work? Let's assume we're speaking about, let's assume we're speaking about the integration between two systems, and one of the system will expose a file, really big one. How the government cloud can handle it?
Okay, so in that case, I mean, currently we were speaking mainly about the API integrations and the different kind of integrations. But suppose if there is only one file, one system which is going to be which is going to like actually share the files and all, which is like a large one. So in that case, the only system which we are delivering, it could be hosted on a cloud, which is like having a government security stuff, and not the other one. So that's how we are filtering it out. But the normal services, what you're performing or what we are operating, would still remain the same. I hope that.
Thank you. And if we are speaking about the messaging, if we need to implement any kind of message, do the government clouds allow us to do it?
Yeah, it definitely does, because from the MuleSoft's perspective, the Anypoint messaging is the one which is like responsible for Anypoint MQ, we can say the messaging stuff. So similar kind of messaging will be also applied for the other government clouds, maybe it AWS or Azure or anything. So there will be the security stuff, which we said, the policies which were discussed will be still applied to it. I mean, the rules and the regulations, and with the help of that, we can able to do the messaging, the logging system.
Okay, thank you very much. Looks like I don't have any question. Colleagues, do you have anything to ask?
Anyone else would like to know anything, or if they have a previous experience using any government cloud, maybe you can share that as well. That should be good.
Okay, so potentially we can postpone the question session. Colleagues, we have a separate chat in Telegram. Please put any of the questions you're interested in, and definitely we'll answer for it. So looks like today we're done pretty fast. Thank you very much for your attention. Hope to see you the next time. Thank you, guys.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.